One of the Fab Five is not here. We received word just in less than an hour ago that Karamo Brown is not going to be joining us today.
Welcome to MsMojo. And today, we're exploring the most notorious, unsettling, and dark backstage and on-screen scandals involving Netflix's reality makeover show Queer Eye.
All of y'all gonna get rabies, and I'm not gonna be the one. See, this is how the outbreak happens. The outbreak happens, and everybody catches it, and then they're looking at me like, why doesn't Karamo have it?
The Karamo and Antoni rift. Everyone wanted to believe that the Fab Five were as close in real life as they appeared during Queer Eye.
I think that went well.
I think it did. Can I tell you? It was perfect.
Yeah.
And she sounds like she's into it.
Yes, she does.
I'm into it.
Yet when the show was in its infancy in 2019, Karamo released his memoir and followed it with podcast appearances that dampened that hope. The culture expert discussed how he and Antoni had a feud, resulting in them not speaking off camera during the show's first season.
On camera, it was about the person and about creating something successful. And so that was genuine. But off camera, the minute that camera stopped rolling, girl, don't come near me. Ooh. It was, and vice versa. He didn't want me to come near him.
Karamo stated that taking into account only their personalities, they got along without an issue. Yet, when an unnamed third person got involved and spread rumors about the pair, Antoni and Karamo fell out. However, eventually, upon realizing how toxic this mystery gossip was, Karamo and Antoni fixed their broken relationship.
I think Deanna was a very important episode as well, just sharing the immigrant story. Hopefully, we get to do more of those because there's so many different experiences, and that was one that really touched me.
Bobby's tough upbringing. Long before he became the interior design expert on Queer Eye, Bobby had an intense childhood that seems more akin to a soap opera than real life. Growing up in the Bible Belt of rural Missouri, or Misery as Bobby has referred to it, was a struggle as a gay youth.
So at 15, I realized I was gay, and I knew that coming out of my hometown was not an option. But I also knew that wearing that face, that mask, every single day of being a different person was,
Adopted by his aunt and uncle, he not only received homophobia from others, but also from his family. Bobby's relationship with Christianity in his hometown, which often preached homophobic rhetoric, has been so severely tainted that he remembers his trauma whenever seeing a church.
Wow. Like, I cannot help but almost hiss when I see a church, when I drive by, because it brings back such negative memories.
This disassociation with who he was and his conservative home led to Bobby leaving when he was a teenager, dropping out of school, and sleeping in his car.
I mean, I lived in my car, I lived with friends.
Weren't they freaking out?
Yeah, but we didn't talk for a while.
Tan struggled with religion and sexuality. When he became the fashion and French tuck expert for Queer Eye, Tan broke the mold by becoming one of the most prominent openly gay Muslims on TV. Yet growing up in Doncaster, England, was a vastly different experience for him.
There was a TV show called Queer as Folk that came out when I was 14, and it was centered around the gay village. And then when I moved to Manchester, I desperately wanted to go just because I thought that was a place I could authentically, truly be myself.
As detailed in his 2019 memoir, Tan's sexuality with his family and the community's religion didn't mix well. As such, he regularly received homophobic abuse. On top of that, he was also a victim of racist attacks. This caused a young Tan to bleach his skin in an attempt to avoid the abuse.
I think when people think of self-harm, they think of something very different to skin bleaching. Now when I look back, I think, God, how did I think that wasn't self-harm?
Eventually, he relocated to the US. Tan has stated his reluctance to return permanently to the UK, believing it pretends to not have a racism problem when it does.
I've literally never ever been on the receiving end of abuse on the streets of Salt Lake City, and I've been there for 11 years now, whereas in England it was almost daily.
JVN's rough start. On the surface, watching the cheery grooming expert on Queer Eye, there's no sign that Jonathan had a terrible upbringing.
This haircut is magic. Her face is magical. Her lashes are like this long.
Beautiful.
Like, her lashes are next level.
Yet, unfortunately, he did. Raised in Quincy, Illinois, Jonathan was abused by a fellow church member, which their family didn't take seriously.
I worked really hard to accept, and I've gone to therapy like twice a week for years and years and years. So for my personal status, I feel great, I feel thriving, I feel healthy.
On top of being tormented for his sexuality and challenging gender norms, she began to spiral. At college, Jonathan offered services to men to pay for illegal substances, becoming dependent on both. As well as having to leave after a semester due to their grades falling, the future hair icon also received a lifelong condition. In 2019, Jonathan went public with the fact that she was HIV positive. Since then, he's become an advocate for those with the disease.
And it was, scary too. I didn't ever picture myself sitting here on your couch talking about undetectable equals untransmittable.
Right.
But, sometimes I've been telling a lot of people to speak truth to power, and I was like, I think I have to take my turn to speak truth to power.
Do that yourself, yeah.
Poor problem. When Queer Eye first debuted on our screens, most people were delighted by the LGBTQIA+ positive program. However, some viewers pointed out that there was a major issue when it came to the Fab Five addressing class differences.
Is this your bedroom? It's so small.
We have the smallest room in the house. The kids share rooms, so they have the bigger rooms.
But they never sleep with you guys. They do.
For example, in season 1, Bobby, not the designer but the guest, was holding multiple jobs and was giving any spare finances to his 6 children. As such, wearing the correct, fashionable clothes wasn't a top priority. However, Tan instead admonished him for not making the effort for his partner.
I want my partner to look at me and think, I respect them enough to make an effort for them. I mean, Vera clearly makes an effort, and she's doing it so you are still attracted to her. And I think it's important you do the same for her.
When visiting William's residence in season 2, the Fab Five seemingly mocked his trailer. They also judged him for sleeping in the same bed that his partner's ex had shared with her.
There's stains all over the couch, and look underneath it.
Oh.
How long have you had it?
We've had it for about 6 months. It got $30 at the Goodwill.
They ripped you off.
The Skyler Jay episode. Considering Queer Eye often promotes issues and stories in the LGBTQIA+ community, it was only fitting that they did an episode on someone trans. Well, in season 2, they had Skyler, a trans man, as their hero.
Yes. Like, how are you feeling?
I'm excited.
What's your experience been with shaving in your life?
Well, I was never really taught.
Yeah.
I went through my second puberty in my mid-20s.
However, while some were happy with the episode, others, especially some within the trans community, felt the framing was off. They believed that the episode was catering more to cis folks rather than other trans people. Tan especially drew criticism for commenting that Skyler was the first transgender person he'd met.
Probably most straight people assume that because it's LGBTQ, we must all understand each other's plight.
Right. No.
That couldn't be more wrong. I've never met a trans person before. Truly, I've never met a trans person.
In this car alone, our 5 stories are so completely different.
However, Skyler had a very different take. He stated that the 5 were supportive, and a lot of their conversations didn't make the episode's cut, including when they talked in depth about what life was like being trans.
God, I spent almost like a decade of my life being miserable in my body, just miserable. And the way that it affected me and the way that I interacted with people, I haven't even felt comfortable giving hugs in a decade because I feel people touch my chest, and it just makes me so uncomfortable.
The season 8 crime spree. If you're a die-hard Queer Eye fan, you might have realized that season 8 was shorter than every other, except the final one, with only 6 episodes. Well, there's a reason for it: crime.
At the beginning of this week, what were you hoping would happen?
That Miranda and I would hook together.
Yeah.
Contact, I mean, what y'all did for me? Lord.
As the production crew was unloading a vehicle in Louisiana, a group of masked assailants attempted and failed to steal the car. While bosses spent cash on additional security, trimming the number of episodes in the season, days later it was tried again. After the criminals failed with another attempt, they dragged a crew member from another car and stole it.
The Hollywood Reporter says 3 suspects got into her SUV and ordered her to get out. This allegedly happened outside the Fab Five mansion on Grand Route St. John Street.
2 people were later arrested. The season fell into further scandal when musician Doreen Ketchens, who was a hero, accused the production of property damage, theft, and exploitation.
I'm at the stage now where I got this huge head start, and I got these great ideas for something my mother and father would definitely be proud of.
JVN's alleged rage. Following a cast member departure, more on that later, there was a lot of speculation on the cause. In 2024, Rolling Stone released a report that pointed part of the blame at Jonathan.
You can go like that.
Absolutely.
And do little these moments. Tell me what you feel. Do you feel crazy?
I feel crazy.
According to anonymous sources involved with Queer Eye's production, they claimed that due to rivalry between the Fab Five for who was the show's top star, Jonathan demonstrated emotional abuse and would go into a rage at staff. yelling at them in the hope of making a villain of the day.
I'm gonna have to take a few of these. You know, I don't think you're gonna be needing these anymore. If you see it on my Instagram, don't come for me. Thank you, it's nice to meet you. Okay, bye.
One source compared Jonathan's anger oozing out of them like a cartoon. The sources also claim Jonathan had at least one meeting with Netflix about his behavior. However, the hairstylist refuted the allegations, stating they were written in bad faith.
Even though I do believe that article was like overwhelmingly untrue and done in bad faith, there have obviously been times through your career, like through my career, where you're like stressed out, or like I may have been like elbow deep in highlights and was like, no, I can't talk about that right now.
Bobby's departure. Following years as an intrinsic part of the Fab Five, in 2023, Bobby confirmed that Season 8 would be his last in Queer Eye.
It's not been an easy decision to be at peace with, but a necessary one. He teases, although my journey with Queer Eye is over, my journey with you is not. You will be seeing more of me very soon.
Reports soon emerged about backstage drama. One involved allegations that Tan had lobbied for Bobby to be replaced with Jeremiah Brent, who later took over. Bobby has stated publicly that he and Tan did have a falling out, resulting in him unfollowing the fashion expert on social media, which Bobby regretted.
Should I have unfollowed Tan? No. Maybe I should have just muted him. But that day I was angry, and that's the end of it. We became like siblings, and siblings are always going to fight.
At the time, the interior designer stated the reason for his departure was contractual. In 2023, the Fab Five 7-cycle contract was ending. However, following the SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes, Netflix wanted to continue. However, Bobby didn't sign on and believed the others would follow suit, but they didn't.
I feel like when you leave on a high and everything is still great, you're able then in the future to come back.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And not like maybe come back fully, but like, oh, do a little special or oh, do a little tour.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Karamo's no-show. With Season 10 of Queer Eye being the show and the Fab Five swan song, the team arrived at CBS Mornings for an interview to promote it in 2026. However, rather than being a by-the-numbers segment, a scandal emerged when Karamo refused to appear with his colleagues.
He sent a statement. He apologized for not attending this interview. He thanked the audience. He said, in part, I hope everyone remembers to focus on and to protect their mental health, peace from people or a world who seek to destroy it, which is why I can't be there today.
The culture expert put out a statement that he was protecting his mental health after feeling, quote, mentally and emotionally abused for years. Soon after, it was alleged that during filming, Karamo's mother overheard Jonathan, Tan, and Antoni mock Karamo, leading to this fracture. Coincidentally, he also unfollowed the trio on Instagram.
I would say one thing that I've been so honored to learn from Karamo in my time is it's just like he said in that package, we have to meet people where they're at.
Yes.
And he has taught people to center what they need, and I'm actually really proud of him.
Bobby then alluded to the scandal on TikTok by promoting his new show and playing a Chapel Roan song that involves karma before deleting his account.
How's everyone's week going? Have you seen my new show, Junk or Jackpot, on HGTV, HBO Max, and Discovery Plus? As for the song paired with the post, the interior designer opts for Chapel Roan's My Kink is Karma.
Did the backstage drama ruin Queer Eye for you, or did it not make a difference to how much you loved it? Let us know below.